Yeah, Bruce, last night several players after the game talked about Edmonton's sense of urgency and your guys maybe not matching it. I guess, how could you get that back? And it's over the course of 3 games, how difficult is it to ramp it up not only once, but 3 times?
Well, there's no maybe about it. They definitely had more urgency than us, especially early on. We weren't able to manage the puck, and if we didn't put out a fire when those things happen, so we end up chasing the game again, which is a bad formula. We got away with it the game 3, but that was the part to me that I was most disappointed in. I think we end up getting dragged into it a little bit, and you start pushing back, but never materialized after that. We had chances on the power play to get ourselves back in the game. Weren't able to do that. So, what was the second part about?
I guess not only doing it once, but potentially having to do that 3 times.
Well, we did it the last series, right? We won 3 in a row. So we know we're capable in the room. It's a stronger opponent. Obviously, they've been through a round, and we're able to do it 4 times in a row. So against LA. So, but it's not easy this time of year, and I'm not fooling anybody when I wouldn't tell the guys it would be. It's hard to win. But, if you start with 1 at home, a building we've typically played well in, so, it's a small picture right now, right? Take care of business tomorrow, be ready to play, see if you can get a lead by playing the right way, having more urgency than them, more desperation. That word now comes into play, because it's it. If we don't win, we're done. So there needs to be somewhat level of that without taking you outside of your game, and then go from there. That's it. It's cliche, but it is 1 game at a time. We have to win 1 game 3 times in a row. That's kind of what's in front of us.
Bruce, you've been down this road before, facing elimination. Do you take the same approach, or do you have to tweak it slightly, given what's at stake tomorrow night?
Well, it's a different animal than last time. We were up in the series, so if you lose the game, you got another chance. There's no more chances for us. So our guys are big boys. They understand that. They've been around. A lot of guys that have been through playoff runs before, so they're aware. The level of execution, first of all, that's required, and the commitment to being focused and ready to play. Because if you get a lead, it can certainly make the game easier, right? It makes a tough run. Edmonton, they could be listen, I have no idea what their mindset will be, but if you have the lead, sometimes when you have a series lead, you may say, we got a chance to wrap it up at home. You never know. You got to create some doubt that way, and so that's about getting your game first and in a hurry and staying at it longer.
Bruce, they lined up Draisaitl, Podolskin, and Kapanen against Eichel and Stone. Just what did they do against that line that kind of made them effective?
Well, they were physical. They had some physicality from Kapanen early on. He was new to the playoffs, so I think that gave the building some juice. Listen, you're going to expect to get hit in the playoffs. You do have to match some of that physicality for sure. I think put goals and blocks, some key shots for them. One off Theo, I remember on a face-off, there's another slot one, so he ate pucks. Draisaitl, I thought, played a good 200-foot game. Tried to work above Jack and not allow mod man rushes. So that's what they ended up doing. They didn't find the score sheet, but I think they did a good job of not allowing the people they played against to find the score sheet.
Bruce, is this a harder team, Edmonton, to get inside on, or is it something that you're doing or not doing?
Well, there are games when we don't create enough offense. That is a bit of our issue, is getting inside. They're doing a good job with that. I thought they blocked a lot of opportunities when we did get there to have a looks at the net. Like I said, I can remember some slot shots. I think it was Pav off a face-off. Now Hurdle gets the rebound. I don't know if they blocked it or they got 2 saves. Howie was in the slot. We were off net with Dorofiev. He rushed a shot late 'cause I think Hyman was coming. So there were some different situations where they did a good job with that. I don't think we executed well enough to put them on their heels to get inside for second and third chances. So that was somewhat on us, but they got to give them credit for the job they did. Don't remember a lot of odd man rushes where their D were caught out of position. So when they have a 2-0 lead, I think it's an easier sell to your team. Hey, let's play risk-free hockey. Go when the opportunity dictates. Play the half-court O-zone game and get your offense from there. They did a good job with that.
2 real quick on Brandon Saad. Any update on him and potential to come back?
We'll find out more now that we're back, so I don't have an answer for you today whether he'll play tomorrow.
And then the other one was just you had guys that made it back to the lineup that have been battling and really struggling. Last night, Stone, McNabb, those kind of guys. Like, did they come out okay? And how did you think they
Yeah, there's no secret they're a little banged up, but they've been through it. They're out there giving us what they got, so I have no issue with their game. I think there's some players in this series offensively that they need to, sometimes it's a short sample size, but we're getting to game 5. We have guys that haven't put up points that scored a lot of goals for us this year in points. So it's time. It's time, right? So, that's part of getting our offense going. The guys you've relied on all year to been consistently producing, it's time to produce.
Well, obviously it was a disappointing game 4 loss, being shut out. Do you try to flush that? Do you still try to learn on that? Or when you're in this situation of having to win 3 straight, do you kind of flip over a new page?
Well, yes, you flip over a new page, but you don't flush anything this time of year. You got to take something from that game. And I think we've talked about it at the start. Their intensity was higher than ours. Their urgency was higher than ours. They created a early goal just with effort, turnover. They created turnover below our goal line. We're not ready to defend the front of the net. Bang, bang, it's in the net. So that was just more urgency for them. Then it's obviously execution through the course of the game. Opportunity to make plays, finish plays. There was more of that as well. The second goal was, again, below the goal line where we didn't end a play. Got to the front of the net. We got outworked there. So those are the things that will be discussed and shown. This is playoff hockey. You got to win the slot battle. I've said that in October. You got to win the slot battle if you expect to win in this league. So we didn't win the slot battle last night.
Being down 3-1, you said last night that you would be involved in getting you're always involved in getting the team ready. But tomorrow in particular, what sort of tenor do you want to set right off from the beginning of tomorrow morning?
Listen, we're going to meet today and go through the game and. Listen, the tenor we have to set is we have to be better than them the first 10 minutes. So it's an urgency, intensity out of the gate, and that, I think that's a no-brainer, to be honest. If they need me to tell me that, we're in trouble. So that's where it's going to start. Where I'm going to talk is about the dirty areas. We got to be better than them. So that will be the tactical part. As we gave up 2 goals right in front of our net, where pucks came from below the goal line to the front. We've got to kill those plays. Be harder on the walls to begin with, or be better supporting when the puck does come to the front of the net. So that's the start. I think we'll discuss our power play. I think they gave us some opportunities in certain areas that we didn't take advantage of. So if we do get something early to give us juice, that's another area we can be better on. But it's the 5-on-5 game that has to be better for us. And it's, just being harder than them in the slot. Your question earlier, getting there and defending it. To me, that's where it starts and ends. And the rest of our game should be fine. I mean, we know how to play the game. Been around a while. Our structure typically, when we have a lead, we tend to play well. So let's get the lead, and how are we going to do that? Well, that's it. Let's take care of the front of each net.
Your team's won a game in the series and was real close in game 2 as well. What will be the sort of the points of belief that you will work with your group?
Well, it was 3-3. I think it was a tie game with 3 minutes to go in game 1 too. So there's 3 games in a row there that could have went either way. They could say they could have had them all, right? That's playoff hockey. Minnesota, we tipped it our direction. They were all close, so expect another close one tomorrow. And again, how did we get over the hump in those other? In game 2, we felt good enough to win. Well, we had a great start, so we got going and. Was that the one? I can't remember now. Great. Geez, I'm losing my memory now. We were up 2-0, but I don't know that our game was fantastic. But at the end of the day, the start is going to be important. And then I thought game 3, we're just a better team. We're on top of them. We're faster. Races and battles. That's what it goes down to. I don't know. Like you get down 3-1, Gary. There's no magic potion to sprinkle around the room and say, we're too far along as a team. There's a lot of guys in that room that won. They understand what's at stake. We got to play better, right? We just got to play harder. We got to play better for longer. And that's what's in front of us. And that's a little bit of will right now, right? Do they want to do it to play on or not, right? We're going to find out tomorrow fairly quickly.
With elimination on the line, what's your message to the team? Just trying to balance knowing what's at stake, elevating your game to keep this whole season alive.
I just said it. They know it. They know what's on the line. If they need me to walk in there and give them a rah-rah speech, then I think we're in trouble. Listen, we got to play harder and we got to play better for longer periods of time, and it would behoove us to be the better team in the first 10 minutes, because if we get going and get to our game, it'll give us confidence. We'll feel good about ourselves. And as I said, maybe it creates doubt in them that, you know what, well, I'll save it. I'll save it for the next game so that we can get it done at home. Now all of a sudden you got one in the bank, and that's how it starts. So that's a bit of the messaging, but that's how I'd look at tomorrow.
Before the series started, Aiden Hill was saying that he doesn't mind a little action around his crease, a little physicality. Is it a fine line?
Well, he got it last night.
Certainly he did, and I don't know if there's some concern there with his response, but I'm curious if there's a fine line between that and it kind of going too far.
I don't have a problem with his response. If he feels guys are in there and it's not getting called, then he'll have to take care of business himself. But where's the rest of our response, right? Like if that should drag some people into it, and it did for a skirmish there for a minute, but we didn't go do the same thing at their end. So that's the part that has to ensue after that. And then you need him to settle down and make saves to keep you in the game. So that's Aiden's job. But I don't mind a little emotion. It's playoff hockey. Just don't let it take you out of your game. And then the guys have to respond to that. That's your goaltender. It's your goaltender. And I'm sure there has something to do with, Hurdle into Pickard. They decided that's how it's going to be. So it's up to us it's a back and forth in the playoffs. So it's up to us to be hard in there too. If that's going to be legal hockey, then go and play legal hockey in the top of their blue paint. But, that's a decision we have to make tomorrow.
Bruce, Dorfeev went back on the top power play unit. You had Olofsson in there previously when Dorfeev couldn't go. Do you look at putting Olofsson back on the top unit, or how do you go about with your?
No, I mean Pav's been there all year. It's a shooting spot. They both do a good job. In one way, it gets Pav missed time. Oldie's kind of into this series. Pav needs to get going, and usually scorers need scoring touches. So the plan behind that is let's get him going. He had some good looks. He shot the puck well. One with great chance was off net. A couple they saved. So. He would probably start there. We need him to get going. Right now, he's only played 2 games. He's a young guy. There's some older guys there that need to pull him in along. Some of the guys that play in his line and get going here offensively, so they can start feeling better about themselves. And now all of a sudden, you're more than just we'll shut down the Eichel line, because that's a bit what happened. Their depth outplayed ours, so we need to flip the script there.
It was early in the game, but do you feel like not scoring on those 3 power plays in the first period, not getting the offense you needed, does that kind of set the tone for how the rest of the game?
A little bit. We've been good on the power play. We've had very timely goals this year, including the Minnesota series, so that hurt yesterday. That was an opportunity for us to calm them down a little bit, and sort of say, hey, we'll hurt you in the power play if that's you're going to play reckless hockey. But that didn't happen, and it gives them a lot of confidence because their PK numbers. Now, maybe it's been better than their numbers. I've said that about ours all along, but it gives you confidence. Now you've killed 3 penalties at home. You got the lead. You're feeling really good about every part of your game. So we could have put a dent in there, and we didn't.